Geek Gamer Weekly is brought to you by our brand new Roku app. You can watch Geek Gamer Weekly, Minecraft Me, and the entire lineup of GeekGamer.tv shows, and even watch the shows live as they happen. To grab the app today, head over to ggtv.me/Roku. This is Geek Gamer Weekly, episode 246, recorded for Sunday, September 23rd, 2013. Hiroshi Yamauchi. Hey everybody, welcome again to another edition of, yes, this is Geek Gamer Weekly, the Uber podcast for geeks and gamers. Yes, we're here, we're back, and we're doing a show. We're hanging out, talking about the latest in gaming and technology news. My name is Chase Nunes. I'm helping orchestrating this cast of characters that we have here. Joining us first, lounging. Yes, he's sleeping here, folks. Sleeping in the beautiful Geek Gamer TV studios. Wake up there, John. Sit up there.
Does he like the chair that he was too lazy to bring in from the garage, but I wasn't because I couldn't stand the chair that he'd been sitting in?
Thank you. Thank you,
John, wake up.
Yeah, I'm awake now.
John, sit up, man.
I am.
That's sitting up?
Yes.
Serious?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. I'm going to be like this the whole show.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Then I need to reframe the camera.
We can.
I'll re-zoom in on you. You watch. I will. I'll do it.
I can angle it down.
You gonna bitmap it?
No. You don't need to angle it anything. I can zoom in right on your mustache.
Cool.
Yeah, you're gonna bitmap it, right?
Yeah.
You like the mustache?
Yeah. That's good.
I know I didn't trim it.
Yeah.
How you feeling, John?
Okay.
Not ducky today.
Not ducky.
Wow. Sorry, folks. Can't take a drink.
Wow.
Sorry.
That's if you're of age, of course. If you're of age and you can take a
Yes.
drink, you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
John, it's good to have you. Good to have you here. Also joining us as well from the Oregon Bureau of Technology, Gaming Research, and Development with his trusty Nintendo Virtual Boy over his left shoulder and his 3D printer over his right. And Minecraft Torch far right. But it's not Minecraft Me, so you can't light it up. Oh. Fine.
You said earlier he needed more lighting, but I think the light inside the printer is actually probably doing pretty good for him there.
Yeah, no, he's Joe's looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's great at lighting up behind me.
The other thing too is Joe's got 3 30-inch screens, so you think like one of them he could just make it all white, and that'd be just enough light for him.
Well, I do have one that I only have a couple things on. I can add a
yeah.
white,
See,
a lighter,
if we want to give
just
Joe
open up
more,
a white
more
text
reflective
page.
light.
There you go. Is that any
That
that's
actually
more
looks
white
good.
over there?
Yeah, it's a nice fill.
I have my notes on this screen, but I can fill in more of the black with another page. Is that a little better?
It's very expensive fill light, but yes, it's good.
I don't know. Have you seen the price of some studio lights?
That's true. I'd rather buy a monitor.
It's not that far off.
And that voice that you just heard, folks, is a new guest to the show. Not a stranger to me, but a stranger to you. He does his own thing out of Ohio. That is a state last time I checked.
Ohio.
Depending
on which news company you talk to,
that's
it's
true.
the state for elections.
From SPNT.TV, Mr. Nick Suberling. Hey, Nick.
What's happening, gentlemen?
Not much, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. My Bengals won today. I have nothing.
Wait. You're a Bengals fan? I had no idea.
I know. What was your first guess, right?
It was the Notre Dame banner. That's what it was.
That's to throw you off. No,
right.
Unfortunately, I don't have anything geeky or techie behind me other than my audio mixer. But I'm excited to be here on Geek Gamer Weekly. I'm a big fan of the show, and I watch it on my Roku app.
Whoa, Roku semi-plug.
Ding.
That's wait.
Brought to you by
Roku
app.
You laugh, John. You laugh, but I do have one of those. That's whenever you hear that sound, that means something's been shamelessly mentioned on the show.
Okay.
We got a great show lined up for you guys. It's kind of a free-for-all, if you will. We are just we grabbed some of the top gaming and geek stories over the past couple of weeks, and you're probably wondering where we were. Well, first off, a couple weeks ago, we had something called PAX. Actually, it was like 3 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
It's been a while. And then there was a schedule conflict where we couldn't get Joe in because of a LAN party that he was at, and I don't know what happened last week.
You were busy.
I was?
Yeah.
Was I busy?
Yeah.
Yep, you were busy.
Yeah, you were busy with something.
What was I doing?
Bainbridge?
We don't know.
That's what it was.
Yep.
Yeah, I was out in Bay Bridge. You're right.
Yep.
Which I didn't do well.
Right.
So scheduling conflicts for Chase.
Scheduling conflicts was terrible for me.
Yep.
And I do have something I want to share, but I'll share it towards the end of the show, which could potentially cause a disruption in the normal flow of things. Doesn't mean everything's going away. It just means the schedules might be changing, and I'll talk a bit why that might be happening. But first, let's talk about some technology news, shall we? Now, over the past week, Apple has been in the news.
Mm-hmm.
They not only released not one, not two pieces of new hardware, but they also released a software update to their phones. But you know, you don't want to hear it from me. You don't, because we have somebody here who's an official Apple stakeholder and also an official Apple expert-ish kind of guy. Joseph Falvey. I might need to change your lower third, but Joe.
So what, you want me to talk about the new iPhones and iOS 7?
Yeah. Well. First off,
we'll start with the new phones.
Let's start with what's in your left hand.
My left hand is a 5S.
And then what's in your right hand?
A 5C.
Sorry.
It's like we planned that, but we really didn't.
Wait, hold on. You deserve this. There we go.
Hey, Chase, you gonna ask me what I got in my hand?
So this is the this is the Sky Gray. I did not get one of the mythical gold.
I am not. Hey, Joe.
Yes.
John wanted to know if you wanted to know what was in his hand.
No, I really, with him leaning back like that. No. Probably wouldn't be show appropriate.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are the new phones that were announced.
Okay.
This is a 16 gig white iPhone 5C.
That's the plastic.
And this is the plastic backed. You can see the edge is a wraparound edge, kind of reminiscent of the old 3G and 3GS.
Okay.
And this is the iPhone 5C in space gray, and it's a 32 gig model.
You mean 5S?
That's the 5S.
5S.
I'm sorry, 5S. Yeah, sorry, 5S. And one of the differences, and then of course I still have my iPhone 5.
So there's the 5C and all the other different colors, white.
Yeah. So the 5C comes in the 5 different colors. Yeah, green. Green, a green, blue, yellow, pink, or red, and a white.
Joe. First, I know this has nothing to do with technical specs.
Yes.
These are the worst colors Apple could have picked. The worst. What's wrong with red? Just straight red or straight blue?
You know, actually, I kind of agree with you. If they had done a deeper red, I would be interested in that as a phone.
Yeah.
Or a darker blue, I'd be interested.
Yeah.
But it's very, very pastel.
Yeah, it's
and
very
I don't
girly.
Really care for the pastel colors. I do. The white, I don't think looks too bad.
White's okay.
It's white.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. How can it look that bad?
Right.
But beyond that, beyond the colors, this is a good phone. It's $100.
On
so
contract.
It's not that expensive.
On contract.
On contract. It's $100 on contract unless you're with T-Mobile, and then who cares?
You're making payments for the rest of your life.
Yeah, pretty much. Good luck, whatever. Which, remember, the 5 when it came out 2 years ago or a year ago was $200.
Mm-hmm.
And these are basically the same phone. The difference is this is the 5 on your left.
Right.
Yeah. So this is the 5, and these are basically the same phone. This is a 32 gig version. This is only a 16 gig, but they are basically the same. They have the same camera, the same screen, the same processor, the same everything.
Now,
the big thing is they moved to an all glass, one piece front, and this, even though it's glass, you can see it is white surrounding the black screen. But other than that, it's basically a 5. So you get the 5 for $100 instead of $200 like it was last year. It's still a really good phone. They're nice and snappy. I have no problem with it at all. But if you're not on contract with your self-provider, you're pretty much wasting money. So that was why I pushed to get both of these phones. One is for me and one is for a family member. So
before we jump into, I know this might be an obvious question, but before we really dive into it, you already had an iPhone 5. Okay.
I did.
And, you know, for someone like me who had a 4S, and I'll talk about why I did not upgrade here in a moment, and even though I have an HTC One, I'll talk about, even if I didn't have an HTC One, why I would still not upgrade to a 5S. But what made you? You had an iPhone 5, and you just said it yourself. Yep. There's not many differences between the iPhone 5 and the 5S per se.
No. But between the 5 and the 5C,
okay,
they're basically the same phone in different cases.
All right.
The 5C has a plastic backing instead of the stainless steel wraparound edge and the aluminum, or the aluminum wraparound edge and backing. The 5C obviously has full plastic on the back. And don't get me wrong, even though it's plastic, it doesn't feel like plastic. I've picked up a lot of really cheap phones, and they all feel like garbage. This actually feels like a really good quality material. Will it be scratch
resistant though? I mean, that's the thing.
Yes, I'm totally 100% confident on that. It feels really, really stout, and they've said they actually did a special coating on the plastic to make it feel better and also be scratch resistant, as opposed to the standard polycarb that they used to use on the old iPods. Remember that?
It also has the A6 chip. It has a 4-megapixel camera, 4-inch Retina display, LTE. Obviously, it has iOS 7. We'll get to that later on.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks nice. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, if someone was coming into the iOS world for the first time and they wanted something to, I don't know, accessorize their purse. I'm sorry.
No, it's the thing about it is it's this. They still have the 4S as an entry level phone. So if you're cheap, you can still have a 4S.
The 4S is still available?
It's available free. There's no cost. So that's why they keep that available until probably next year, when this will become the entry level phone, and it will be a no cost phone if you're on contract. The 5S is a little different. So the 5S adds a bunch of features. It is different from the 5. I know it looks the same and it fits all the same cases. It looks really similar. The big one that everybody is talking about is the actual touch fingerprint reader for the start button, or for the, not the start button, but the home button.
Right.
Which is cool. It also has the new processor on it. It's the first 64-bit processor in a phone, which of course Apple likes to talk about how amazing that is, and it is actually pretty cool. I just ran across some benches. They say it benches almost as fast as a 2010 Mac Mini. So you actually run the benchmarks against a modern or a desktop computer, and it's almost as fast as one from 2 years ago, which, given that this is this big and a Mac Mini is, 30 times the volume or something ridiculous, it's pretty impressive. So the battery's lasts a little longer on this. The camera is much improved. There's a motion stability and 120 frame per second video, stuff like that.
Can you program the button, the touch sensitive button, to more than one finger, or it can only program to one finger?
You can program it to more than one finger.
Okay.
So I have it on 2 thumbs and 2 pointer fingers, because those are the only fingers I use to unlock the phone.
Okay. And in your experience so far, how well do you think it works? Huh.
Pretty good. So in that case, rather than even swiping it, all I did was push the button and then let go a little bit, leave my finger on there for a second. It read my fingerprint and unlocked the phone. If I hadn't done that, if I just pushed it and then swiped it, I have to enter my code. Now, if I get to this point, and believe me, the first day of having this, I only got this on Friday. The first day of having this, I was entering this code every time because I wasn't thinking about it. But yeah, at this point, you just touch it and it'll unlock like that.
That's pretty good.
I mean, it works surprisingly well. I could not believe how well it worked. I was really impressed with it. The enroll process is really simple. You basically just touch the sensor a whole bunch of times, and it even says touch it at different angles and move your finger around and touch it at different places. And now, I was amazed at how well it worked.
Now, Joe, gotta ask you, man. I know. I mean, you obviously pulled the trigger. You wanted this. And the 64-bit chip is great, and no doubt new apps are going to take advantage of that. But is it really truly worth? Like, they say the 4S, the 5S is for 4S owners. If you have a 4S, this is the upgrade for you. If you have a 5S, there's a lot of things I've been reading that the 5S jump, the fingerprint reader's great, and the chips, it's a little bit faster, sure. But is it really worth paying the price? Because typically, if you're going from a 5 to a 5S, you're in the middle of your upgrade cycle, so you usually have to pay full price.
if you're still in the middle of your contract, if you're not off contract or at the point where you can do an upgrade for the reduced price, then I would say probably not. So if you're a typical iPhone 5 buyer who bought it last year and you've had it since then, it may not be worth it to you to upgrade to a 5 or a 5C or a 5S.
Yep.
I was in a unique situation. I had maneuvered things around, so I was off contract.
Oh, okay.
And so I didn't buy it for full price. I bought it for the upgrade price.
Okay.
So this phone only cost me $200.
All right.
Well, $300 because I got 32 gig version. But
right.
But yeah, I would sort of agree with that. If you're on a 5 and you're satisfied, you're happy with the 5, there's no strong, compelling reason to move to this phone. But if you're on any other iPhone and you're looking at moving up and you're off contract, that's the important thing. I tell people, if you're off contract with your cell provider, why? And the answer is, well, I don't want to be bound to that provider. Well, how often do people really switch providers? It's very unlikely you're going to want to switch providers in 2 years unless something changes a lot, in which case you'll have a way to get off the contract anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, the reason why I would ask why you're on a contract is every month you pay, and you're not paying for this partially for the subsidy on the phone that you have, you're paying more money than you should be. Because they're just pocketing the difference. They've already paid for your phone. They're pocketing that difference. So if you are on contract and you're paying off your phone, right, that you bought at the last opening, then you're in the best possible situation. It'd be slightly better if you were paying less and you paid full price for the phone, like our friends over in Europe get to do. But with the system we have in the US, it's pretty much the best option out there. But that's why I went with this. I was off contract. And it was worthwhile for me. I only had to pay for the price of the phone and whatever the stupid upgrade fee is. It's like $30 or something. And I was good with another phone. And honestly, in a year, I will still be on my contract, but I have a family member who's on the same account who will be off contract, so I'll probably upgrade to the 6. But we just bounce phones around.
Now, here's the thing. First off, let me ask Nick. Nick, what kind of phone are you carrying right now? What are you using?
I'm actually using the HTC Incredible, the first one.
Wow.
Yeah, I had a
You're
last
old
year. It's a very
old school
old phone.
Old school in smartphone terms, but yes.
Yeah, I got about a year ago the Motorola. I can't remember the Razr, and about 6 weeks in, I cracked my screen and it spidered so much that I couldn't use it anymore.
Oh snap!
And so I want to say about 6 months ago, I just grabbed the old Incredible, and I actually ended up putting my own ROM on it, and that was a fun experience, let me tell you. And then I'm actually a Droid guy. My wife is an iPhone 4 user. She just got it last December it was free. So we don't have a 4S, we don't have a 5, so this is all new territory.
Has she been saying, hey, the new 5S's, I'd love to have the one in hot pink. Can I get that?
I don't even know if she knows that the new iPhones are coming out or out.
Oh, keep her away from the show.
Yeah, but you know what? It took her how many years to finally get an iPhone, so I'm not too worried about that.
So, Joe, here's the thing. Even though yes, I have an HTC One now, I still have I still have my 4S. I loaded iOS 7, and we'll talk about iOS 7 here in a minute, but I wanted Apple to kind of surprise me and show me something that I didn't read from rumors. Like maybe they came out with a bigger screen phone by chance. There was some small.
I know you're all
that.
about screen size.
But
I understand you want screen size. I get that.
It's not just screen size though. I mean, some people are complaining that there's no 128 gigabyte option. Because obviously now with the apps that are getting bigger and bigger to take advantage of iOS 7 and the 64-bit chip, those apps are getting bigger. And so people are like, well, I don't want to have everything on the cloud. I sometimes want everything on my phone. And so I want to know, okay, if you are trying to talk to somebody to get an iPhone, or you have somebody out there who says, I want a larger screen, but gosh, Apple, make a larger screen. I mean, what do you say to those people, Joe?
Well,
what do you say to me?
There are people, and I'm not going to name any names, but there are people who are all about screen size. That's all they care about. honestly. And they feel like the bigger screen they have, the better they are. And those are the people who have like Note 2s and ridiculous phones like that. And before too long, it feels like you're carrying around a 1990s BlackBerry and trying to use that as a phone because it just looks ridiculous. For me, though, the reason I actually really like this screen size, and I wouldn't want to go much larger. And the reason for that is I can fit my thumb. I can do everything on this phone from one hand. I can touch every corner of the screen from one hand. And my hands might be slightly larger than average, but most people are in the same boat. I know, like my sister's that way. She can reach the entire screen on her phone with one hand. And if you're watching a movie, maybe that has an effect. You know, the smaller screen is a little harder to see, I guess. But that's what I have an iPad for. I store all that media on the iPad. And I rarely go somewhere without both devices. So for me, having a bigger screen, it doesn't make any difference. I actually would rather have a screen that's comfortable, that I am used to using, than have a screen that, you know, makes me feel like I'm, you know, I have 30-inch screens on my desk. I enjoy, don't get me wrong, I like having a large monitor.
Yeah.
But I think the place for it is not necessarily in a phone.
It's all, you know, obviously it's a matter of preference. Like, I believe that like the Note 3 and the Galaxy S4 is too big for me. It's just, you know, obviously there are people out there, and there's a lot of people buying those devices. I got the HTC One because it's a little bit smaller than a Galaxy, and I love the build quality and obviously the front-facing speakers. I think, you know, I watch a lot of content on this phone, and it's one of those things where sometimes I can't bring both. I can't bring an iPad and a phone with me. I can only bring one thing, so I like having everything in one thing. Obviously, you know, like the iPhone, the battery's integrated on this. I don't like that very much. I kind of like, you know, having... I still miss the ability of swapping out batteries. I
would rather have a battery that lasts all day rather than have a battery that I have to swap out.
Yeah. Well, let's move into iOS 7, because everybody got iOS 7, or nearly everybody. Obviously, the original iPad didn't get iOS 7, but pretty much everything else did.
The third day it was out, 29% of devices that could support it were already running it.
Right. Which, you know, a lot of people just hit update if they see a push update message anyway.
Well, the important thing I think about that is because there are, I mean, face it, there are a huge number of iPhones out there and a huge number of iOS devices out there. And the majority of them at this point support that. Unless you're running a first-gen iPad or an iPhone that's way out of contract now, you're pretty much running a device that'll support iOS 7. So, as opposed to Android, where 4.3 is current, I think, isn't 4.3 current? I think that's what I put on my Asus Google thingy.
Yeah, 4.3 is current. Yes.
So, and how many phones are out there that support 4.3? Last time I saw it was like a fraction.
And this is where the
Android market.
But see, this is where the argument gets a little diluted, because there's a lot of phones that can support it, but you know, since Apple has its good relationship with carriers and they can independently update the iOS whenever they feel like it, on Android it's not that way at all.
I don't think that's a relationship with the carriers. I think that's a relationship with the handset makers.
I think it is, because when you get like, say for example, when I bought this phone, this HTC One, okay, it was loaded with AT&T stuff.
Yeah.
Now, that's a carrier thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the carriers, and this phone, that 4.3 was out for a very long time, and it was not pushed HTC ones and Google Galaxy phones, because it was not approved yet by the carrier. The carrier wanted to make sure it didn't impact their network, and they whatever excuses they want to come up with. I think it's all a matter of, obviously, control. It's a matter of they want to make sure that it doesn't break their
No, see, I don't buy that argument. And the reason I don't buy that argument is Windows Phone doesn't have the same issue.
Because when Windows Phone went to the marketplace, and actually they still kind of do have that issue. No, because
Windows Phone, Microsoft said this is what your phone specs need to be. And they defined a very specific set of specs. And those specs, any phone that meets those specs is going to support the versions that Microsoft has in mind for the next few years.
But if someone wants an
Android,
update
on the
for
other hand, being as air quote open as Google wants to everyone to think it is, there's very very few limitations on what specs it can run. You can pick up a phone today that won't run an Android OS that's current as of 3 years ago.
Right. But
so,
the
argument that it's all the carrier's fault, no, it's the handset maker's fault and it's Google's fault for not pushing device specs as hard as they should.
But when you try to go get an update, you can't go to Google get your software update. You have to get it from your carrier.
Or your handset maker.
Right. You can't get it from Google. So unless you got a Nexus phone, that's the only exception to that rule.
But that is the carrier's fault, not Google's fault.
That's what I said. It's
because
it's
Google didn't make that update throughput proper.
Well, right, because Google was trying to get
fault.
because Google was trying to get their phones out to everybody that would take them. And so what they did is they obviously bent over backwards to say, all right, fine, we'll let you have this control over software updates and et cetera, et cetera. Meanwhile, Apple has the control over software updates on their phones.
But that doesn't match Google's. So Google's original vision was you go to. So I mean, I think Google messed the whole thing up in that, and I don't think you can blame the carriers for it. I think you have to. It has to. Not just the carriers, I suppose. You have to blame. It's a mutual. In part Google and the handset makers and the carriers.
Right, I agree.
So
with that.
if any one of them forced the issue, and as it became bigger and bigger, it wouldn't be a problem anymore. But anyway. That's besides the point. That's downfalls of Android and reasons why I don't like Android. I could talk about that all night. But we're going to talk about iOS 7.
Do you love iOS 7? Do you love it? Be honest,
really
please.
like iOS 7.
Why?
Huh?
Why? Why do you love it?
Why?
Yeah, why do you like it?
Well, there's a bunch of reasons.
Come on, real reasons.
Well, okay. So, I like the features, the new features that it adds. I like the new the style the OS is.
What
going.
are the new features?
Really do. So one thing is I like the way the new the camera works now. I like the API that they've opened up for more Bluetooth connectivity devices. Like the background processing that they've opened up for more things. There's a lot of things that were added. I mean, that's like asking, what do you like in Android 4 versus Android 3?
Have more abilities and settings and options.
Okay, there you go. That's what I like about iOS 7. Have more abilities, settings, and options.
Okay.
No, I mean, there's a lot more there. I'm one of the people who really likes the new Androids. I really like the Jay Huckabee points out the lock screen and Siri. The new Siri voice I think is great. I really do like the new Siri voice.
By the way, Siri
and the lock
uses
screen notifications is great. Huh?
Siri uses Bing as its search engine now. I heard too. Is that true?
For web searches?
Yeah.
By default, it uses Bing. Yeah.
Have you tried that?
No, I don't use Siri for web searching.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
I mean, no. Well, I use it for navigation and stuff like that, but not for web searching.
Okay.
I like the new app switcher. I think that's really good. Like I said, the notification screen on the notifications on the lock screen I think are really good. It's very reminiscent of lock info or anything like that. If you've ever run a jailbreak phone, you can see different messages and emails and stuff like that in your lock screen. One of the things that I really like that I didn't think I would like as much is if you have a timer or something like that set, it actually shows it on your lock screen. It'll tell you how much time is left on that. That sort of thing. Some of the other features I really want to use, but I haven't really had a chance yet.
Has an Android have that, by the way, for a while?
I have no idea. It probably depends on which launcher you have from what carrier and what phone maker.
I'm talking about default. I'm not talking about different launchers.
I have no idea. There's hardly any commercial phones that run default anymore.
I'm just trying to
unless it's the Nexus one. Yeah. Anyway. Anyway,
all I'm trying to say is a lot of these
really
features were available for Android.
Some of them were,
and on jailbroken phones too.
Well, some of them were, some of them weren't. It depends on which specific feature you're talking about. AirDrop really wasn't available before. There's a few other things. I mean, yes, you can get some of these things through jailbreaks on 6, but overall, iOS 7 I think runs faster. It feels a lot smoother. Even on my 5 and on the 5C, it runs. I feel it just feels faster and snappier.
Do you like the look of it?
I do like the look of it. Yeah.
Okay. Because I know.
So.
I know your words don't mean much, but Miley Cyrus, by the way, Joe, hates it. Hates it.
That's
You're right there, Nick.
that's-
You're right.
I
man?
really
Oh.
go by what she says for phone reviews.
I know.
Does it say what phone she does use?
Well, no. Obviously, it must be an iOS 7 compatible phone.
Does she mention?
So I don't know.
Does she like a something else? I mean,
I don't know.
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
Hey, it's Miley's world, and we're just living in it.
that's true. I mean,
yeah.
but it's official. I mean,
I don't understand why we even listen to people like that.
I mean, there you go. She says, "I hate the iPhone update." There you
She's
go.
not the only one, though. A lot of people were complaining.
There are people who
Are
have
they valid?
reasons
Are they valid complaints? Though I mean, obviously, Joe, you're a little biased, of course. But do you think?
So
there's,
I think some of them are valid. I think some of them are valid from depending on your point of view. So like there are people who don't like the new user interface. They don't like the new icons. They think the flat thing is stupid, and they like this one article that you posted said the beauty has gone from iOS. I don't know what that means, but that's what he thinks, and that's not really a valid. I mean, that's an opinion, and it's his opinion, and therefore we should, I guess, accept it as valid. But I don't agree with it.
But what kind of sucks, though?
iOS 7's launch app switcher seems to be copied from the method that I had so much trouble with in Windows Phone 8, which I guess is true, although I haven't used Windows Phone 8. I only use Windows Phone 7. What it reminds me more of, though, rather than Windows Phone, is WebOS, actually.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. So accessing Spotlight, he doesn't like the fact that you have to pull the screen down instead of sliding to the left. I actually prefer that because having to go accidentally going to the Spotlight search, and I'm sure you experienced this, the Spotlight screen was annoying as all heck. He doesn't like that there's no swipe typing on the keyboard. I don't care. I have swipe typing on another device, and I just don't get the hang of it. I'm way faster typing with two thumbs. He doesn't like the camera app. He doesn't like Near Me in the App Store. He doesn't like the built-in apps, which I agree. Some of the built-in apps is kind of annoying. But some of the apps are really cool. Oh, one of the things that I really like in iOS 7 is the Compass app changed. There I am trying to enter my lock code again.
See, but
the Compass app
but
is
you
different.
know, I mean, by
now it's a level 2.
You're entering your passcode again. That's muscle memory, right? Because you're so used to entering a passcode. Now you have you can use your thumb or your finger.
Yeah.
Well, that guy was expressing the same thing. To get to Spotlight, he was used to swiping left and going left. And now that option is pulled from him. The other thing, too, is he doesn't like the look. Okay, fine. He doesn't like the look. Can he customize the look? Not really. He can't change a different icon set. Yeah, he can change the wallpaper, but that's about it. So, I mean, some of those people, I mean, I think their complaints are still valid because, they got used to doing things a certain way. And Apple says, all right, we're going to push out this update. And then what they do is they push out the update, and then you can't go back.
Well, that is true. You can't go back unless you're running an old device and you're willing to do some work.
No. They don't sign the old software releases, Joe. You can't get the old stuff back.
No, if you're running an iPhone 4 earlier, you can go back.
Well,
you can still
but most
hack
people
it and go back. But
yeah,
no, that is true. But you're also forgetting though that if you are running an older device, they did make it so the Apple Store now will offer you the last version of that app that will run on your phone. True. It won't just say there's no current version of your app to run on your phone. Why am I going all pixely?
I have no idea. You've gone to plaid.
I guess so. Yeah. So no. There are a few. So a lot of that stuff, though, like you said, is muscle memory type things, which I can agree. However, so is the unlocking the thing, and it doesn't bother me at all. I'll get used to it. It's just going to take me a little bit of time.
Right.
And I mean, I guess it's unfair because I've been running iOS 7 for a while now. So all these things that this guy's complaining about are things that I got used to within a few days, or within a few weeks anyway. And this guy's complaining about them, 4 days after the OS dropped. Give it a little more time. Maybe?
Yeah, but I'm also a person.
I know.
Of
change
choice.
is bad for change's sake because everyone hates change. I get that.
Yeah,
I understand.
but people should still also have a choice. Like if they like how the old way looked, or at least how they used to swipe to the left to get to Spotlight. At least give them that.
If you want a choice and you want to be able to do anything you can to your phone, well, almost anything you can do to your phone, because there's still some things you can't do on Android. They won't let you unless you root it. Then by all means, go find an Android phone and use that.
So that's what you're telling people. If you want,
and then you have to deal with all of the update issues. Waiting for your carrier to approve the update for your phone. You have to deal with if you have a problem with your phone. Where do you take it? Do you take it to your carrier store, who are notoriously bad for helping people? as opposed to taking it to an Apple store, which will just usually 9 times out of 10 just solve your problem. I mean, there's when you're getting into an iPhone, when you're getting into an Apple product, at least for me anymore, you're not buying it just because it's an Apple product. There's a lot of other things you get along with an Apple product that I think is really helpful.
True. That's true.
The benefits of having the corporate Apple stores available in virtually every state now. I think maybe Alaska doesn't have one. Probably Wyoming or Montana.
Yeah, who cares about that?
It's really, really hard to
Ohio.
To talk about how. I mean, it's hugely helpful. And yes, I understand. People want to be able to customize their device. They want to be able to do a few of those things. But I'm not willing to put up with the trade, the bad part of the trade that you get moving to some of the other platforms.
But see, the only argument I have to this is you have some people like this gentleman who wrote the article who get used to. They jumped into the iOS, they jumped in the iPhone because they liked it a certain way, and they were very happy with that way. And if they updated by accident, let's say they're on an iPhone 5 and they updated by accident, they can't go back. They can't. All their options that they used to have, that they got used to, are now gone. They have to relearn it all over again. All I'm saying is, yes, that might be fair. Your explanation might be fair for somebody getting into it for the very first time. They can make a smart judgment and decision about what they want to do. But if they've been in the ecosystem for a year or 2 years, and all of a sudden, here's iOS 7, you're going to get it, and if you accidentally update, sorry, you can't go back. At least, if I accidentally update to a different OS or whatever, typically, you can roll it back, format and reinstall and go back or whatever. You can't do that. I'm just saying
I think it's an issue. I think it's an issue that power users might have, but the average user's not gonna. They might run into it briefly and they might care about it for a few minutes, but after they've used it for a while and gotten used to the changes, it's not going to be an issue anymore. I mean, that's the thing, right? Is everybody said, look at how long people said, look, Windows XP is where it's at. I'm never moving off Windows XP because it's so awesome and spectacular and amazing. And I'm never going to move to Windows 7 or Windows Vista or anything like that because Windows XP is where it is. And now everybody's running Windows 7. And you know what? It happened before that too, with everybody saying Windows 3.1 to 95. I'm never going to move to 95 because everything changed and it's crappy and terrible. And then everybody's moved to 95. And then 95, 98, that ecosystem into Windows 2000. It's the same thing, Windows 2000, Windows XP. Nobody's ever going to do it, and they ended up doing it. So,
but I never heard of anybody accidentally updating and not being able to roll back.
Well, that's because Microsoft charges money. I mean, but
Apple's charged money for updates too in the past. Not for iPhones. Never for iPhones. I swear, I thought they charged for
never for iPhones. They charged $10 for iPod Touches. That was because of how they did their finances at the time, and they changed it after that.
Okay.
But anyway, it's really weird how they changed that too. It's kind of a strange thing. I read up on it once. It was really weird. The way they do it is they charge you all but $10, and the last $10 they trickle feed into their bank accounts, so that the purchase is not actually completed. That way they can say it's to avoid some antitrust thing or something like that. They can say that the updates were part of.
Whoa, that's weird. I never thought about that.
Yeah, it's a really, really weird thing they have to do. But I guess most companies out there who provide automatic updates or free updates end up having to do the same thing. But it's only totally in the back end, totally on the books. It's not something you ever experience as a consumer. But I always thought it was really weird.
Yeah.
But every time there's a major update, a major UI change on any product, people freak out and they think the world is coming to an end
because they feel like they have no choice. Right. I think that's what it is.
Because you know what? 3 weeks later, nobody cares anymore. Everybody's like, oh, well, maybe it was actually not that bad.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, we're talking about problems with an OS that is 4 days old at this point. I just want to refresh that. It is 4 days old.
I have no skin in this game, so I'm just having fun with it.
If people still have a problem in 2 months' time or in a month time, then maybe if they've been using it all that time, then maybe they have a legitimate complaint.
Right.
But right now, seriously, it came out last week.
Nick, are you going to get an iPhone eventually?
Because I would like to. I've been wanting to get an iPhone for a while, but just I've always come across bad times in the contract or whatever. So I would love to get an iPhone. It looks like
who's your carrier?
I'm a Verizon guy, so My contract isn't up until May.
Oh, that's okay. You may not be able to get a 5S until then anyway, right now, the way things are going right now. The demand, so that's the other thing, too, is the demand is so high that the ship dates have slipped all the way to October for all the 5Ss.
Well, and I don't even know if I would get a 5S because I'd have to pay for it. So whatever the free phone at that time would be, would that be the 5?
No, the 5 is discontinued. So the probably in May, probably still a 4S.
Which isn't a bad phone. I mean,
so
you're right. You would want the latest and greatest, but it'd be free. So
you only get free phones or free phones.
Hey man, I'm the father of twins, so I can't be spending money on phones.
There you go. Better said. Joe's like, yep.
Hey,
Sorry, man.
Whatever. I'm
no kids for Joe.
I can save $100 on things real fast. So that's
hey,
or $200, but whatever. Yeah.
Well, I think we've definitely beaten this topic to a bloody pulp on both sides.
Well, we haven't really talked about what actually changed in iOS 7. All you did was talk about how bad it was.
Well, the interface changed. We did talk about it.
So,
we did
so
talk
Jay
about
Huckabee
it.
Jay Huckabee has a really good rundown that he put in the chat in the chat room. Lock screen is improved, Siri's improved, new ringtones and text tones, universal swipe to get to get to control center, new multitasking switcher, infinite items inside folders. He likes the look too, he says, and background app updates. The other thing he also left out is if you're running a 5S, which again is the first 64-bit chipset, the iOS 7 is fully 64-bit. So pretty cool. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of improvements there. If you're interested, check it out. There's tons of info on different websites. We have a really good link actually here that has differences between 6 and 7, like screenshot differences.
Oh, cool.
But
yeah, I saw that.
But
yeah.
you just skipped right over it. You didn't care. You
We're
just delved right into
this.
It's terrible and crappy, and everyone
40
hates
minutes.
it, and
Wow.
you can't go back to yada yada. Anyway,
I mean, yeah, we could talk about features, but people can go and read about features. They want to know about.
You'd rather talk about how terrible it is and why your Android phone is so much better.
Did I mention anything much about that? Honestly,
Anything much about that?
Come on, man.
If you have an iPhone and you're not happy with the interface and you want a bigger screen, you should get an HTC One because it is amazing and it is the new Jesus phone.
See, now you're
it will solve all your problems.
Now you're putting
and
words in my mouth.
If you're impotent, it will make you unimpotent, and it will fix every issue you've ever had with humanity, and it will solve world hunger.
I never said those things. Never said those
You just thought them. I heard them.
Only the world hunger part, but that's it.
Yeah.
Only that part.
Yeah. So it doesn't fix the impotence problem?
No, unfortunately not. This show is brought to you by the Little Blue Pill. I can't mention them because they're paying me not to mention them.
So you're saying Bob Dole can mention them, but you can't, huh?
Well, no, Bob Dole's the other one, I thought.
No, he's not.
Is he the Blue Pill?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I still don't want to mention it. Why are we talking about this? We're talking about this because the next topic is a little sad.
It is.
It's one of those situations where, this is the kind of person that really revolutionized what we do and what we enjoy. Former Nintendo president Hiroshi Yamauchi passed away at the age of 85 last week. And in case you don't know who that name is, Nick, actually, you did some full coverage on him. I'm going to have you introduce the story because you did a lot of research. But for those who do not know who Hiroshi is, what did he do?
He gave us the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, the Nintendo 64, the GameCube. Am I missing anything else, Chase?
The Virtual Boy, but
the Virtual Boy, absolutely.
But they didn't include that on the list for some odd reason. I wonder why.
The Super.
But what he did
it's
though
actually
is he gave
a
us
subline underneath the SNES.
Oh, okay.
On the wiki page.
Oh, okay.
But what he did though is he gave us basically our childhoods.
Yeah.
I still remember vividly that Christmas morning I opened my present, which was my Nintendo, and the first time seeing a Nintendo being played just blew my mind. I think I was in first grade.
Yeah,
and,
I remember.
it's just something. It was my neighbor. They were playing Rad Racer, not in 3D, but they were playing Rad Racer.
Remember when you used to hit select and it would do that weird 3D thing, and it came with the black 3D glasses and oh yeah. So what's your first ever Nintendo memory? Now it doesn't necessarily have to be console, but like what's like the first time you ever experienced anything Nintendo related?
Well, I just gave you mine.
Okay. Oh, so that was it.
So
That was your first. That was your first.
That was my first. Seeing it at my neighbor's house. Them playing Rad Racer, and then they also had. Do you remember the original Track and Field?
Oh yeah.
My neighbors would do. They were a little older than I was, but they would take electrical tape and wrap it around their index and middle finger.
Yes.
And then they would just use that to rub on the buttons to go fast.
Well,
I always thought that was so bizarre.
Well, when the NES, what was it, the Max came out with the turbo buttons and the 360 D-pad, that helped tremendously in track and field.
Probably my favorite controller of all time to this day.
Yeah, it's still a good controller.
I love that controller.
Yeah.
I actually
the
still
feel
have
of that
that
controller is so awesome.
I've been using it. I busted out on Thursday when the news came out that he had passed away. I busted out my original Nintendo so that I could show my 5-year-olds what my childhood was like and video games. Now,
be careful.
They've been spoiled. They have 3Ds.
Violent. They're violent. Those Nintendo games are violent back in the day. Be careful.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. So it's been fun watching them learn how to do
stepping on mushrooms.
Yeah.
It's fun trying to teach him how to play Super Mario Brothers and to watch them struggle with it. But like as an adult and somebody who's played games for so long, like it's hard to be patient with them. Like just jump. It's not that difficult, but he's 5. So it's fun watching that. He got a really big kick this week out of Excite Bike. And
I saw your picture.
That's another fun game.
Yeah. The one thing I didn't like about Excite Bike on the Nintendo is you couldn't save. I mean, once you made you made tracks or whatever, it wouldn't save. So as long that's it. So you make your track, you can play your track
until you took your game out of the console.
Exactly. No, man, Nintendo. Joe, what's your fondest Nintendo memory? Could be
my fondest memory or my first memory?
Both, whatever you want to say.
Okay, so my fondest memory was probably a friend, because I got an original NES. I think it was the Christmas they came out. My dad bought me one for Christmas, and so I was playing the NES from the original NES, and he bought it for me, but really it was for him. One of those,
Yeah.
And so I remember playing. I have no idea what JRPG it was. It was Japanese RPG. I have no idea which one it was. Might have been one of the early Final Fantasies or something. Yeah. I really have no idea. To this day, I can't remember. But one of my really good friends, one of my best friends from Hawaii, coming over and playing, and we played through basically the entire game on that NES over like one weekend at a time over the better part of a year. I wish I could remember which one it was, but I really can't. But my first memory, and I didn't realize this at the time, my first memory is my mom used to get me, and she got me a couple of them, or my dad. I have no idea where they came from, but I had a couple of those little square. I had like 2 dual screens and 1 regular single screen, and they just said Game and Watch on them. And I used to play Donkey Kong and stuff like that on them, and never even thought about what they were. And I had those, before I got I think we probably bought them in Japan when we were living there, and I never really thought about what they were until years later when I found them, digging through random stuff and found these things, and I'm like, holy crap, these are Nintendo. So that's probably my first memory, but my fondest memory is playing through on the original NES, playing through one of those JRPGs and just hours. I mean, tons of hours. Yeah, I didn't have that one. I had a blackjack one. I had a couple. I think I had 2 different Donkey Kong ones, but yeah, just like that. The ones I had actually had a D-pad on the left side.
Wow.
But yeah, they were tons of fun, and just so much time spent wasting on those.
They were just recently, well, not recently, 90s, they were discontinued. 1991, they finally discontinued them. But
they're cool, though. I have to dig them out every once in a while, and I think they still work. I made sure before I put them away the last time to pull the batteries out so they wouldn't leak. But I'm pretty sure they still work.
Wow, very cool. John,
Mhm.
I know you don't have much of a history of Nintendo,
Mhm.
but do you have any any memories of Nintendo? I mean, you had a rough childhood. You didn't have a Nintendo growing up, huh?
No.
Did you have any video game console growing up? An
Um,
Atari or anything?
No, actually, no.
Nothing, huh?
Nothing.
Wow.
Man, you were
Tron.
Nope.
Like a stand-up Tron machine at home. You didn't have that.
Yeah.
Do you have a Pong machine?
Yeah.
Now, but
No,
John, what was your first ever experience playing a Nintendo game? Was it at Crystal's house? Was it that? Playing Contra?
No.
No, you played Nintendo before?
Yes.
What was your first ever experience with Nintendo? Today.
I'm trying to think. Probably play
Was it Eve Offline?
Yeah, Eve Offline. No, I mean there was my sister and her then boyfriend. They're married now. My brother-in-law and I all shared a house, and Brian had a Nintendo 64.
Okay.
And we played Zelda.
Oh, it was great game.
Yeah, so
The one game where you had to hold the reset button as you turned it off
I don't
to
remember.
not screw up the battery. Do you remember that? Do you know that at all?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, it's true. So there were just a handful of Nintendo games that you had to hold the reset button as you turned it off. Otherwise, you would mess up the battery that was in the cartridge that would save your games. And stuff.
Yeah, I don't recall that.
Fine.
But
I remember
yeah.
having a couple cartridges that looked different, and not knowing until years later that those were the unapproved, unlicensed cartridges.
Tengen had a whole bunch, like RBI Baseball, Tetris.
Yeah, I had a bunch of those games,
Yeah.
and I was always like, why do these cartridges look different? Who cares? Threw them in the machine anyway and played them. But it wasn't until years later that, those were not approved, licensed cartridges.
I remember those.
That was so weird. I mean, now you couldn't even imagine that now.
No, well,
Having an unlicensed title on a modern console is
well,
just
they
impossible.
don't work now because
Right.
of
Well,
encryption.
it's called homebrew now, right?
Yeah, that's
Isn't
true.
that what basically that is?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, my first ever experience with a Nintendo actually was in the arcade. I used to go to the arcades quite often and would play a lot of the Versus games. So like Versus RBI Baseball, Versus Duck Hunt, Versus Hogan's Alley, even Super Mario Brothers, and I would play them in the actual original arcade cabinets. And I remember telling my parents, I love a Nintendo, and the first Christmas they got me an old Pong console, and I was a little disappointed. And then the following Christmas, I got a TurboGrafx 16.
Wow.
Yeah, and we knew how that worked out. But eventually I got a Nintendo action set, and that thing was awesome. I remember going to Albertsons and renting video games for the weekend, and just the memories. And what really got me so passionate about gaming is really thanks to this gentleman, really. Also, he's got a tremendous history when it comes to sports and the local area here with the Seattle Mariners. It's a great read to just learn about his life. And thanks to him, we have such great IP and such great devices. Now, a lot of you may be wondering what's been running behind me. And this is Mario Kart 7 for the Nintendo 3DS. But the reason why I have it running here is, Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo is still awesome. I mean, there's a couple of courses on here that are those tracks are in this game, and I love them because the music. And I was playing a little bit of that before the show today. If you were trying to pick up on the music that I was playing, so yeah, no, really, really awesome history, and makes me want to just keep playing more Nintendo stuff. I mean, you were telling us, Nick, like you said, you hooked it up for your kids for Excite Bike, and how many games do you still own?
I want to say I have about 15 cartridges downstairs in the basement right now. When I was in middle school, we had a lightning strike hit near our house. It didn't hit our house, but it actually blew out all of our electronics, and it blew out my Nintendo. And that day was one of the worst days of my life. And when I was in college, I happened to come across a nice little package on eBay, and I bid for it, and I ended up winning it. So I have a Nintendo, and it came with a ton of games. And so, yeah, I've been playing a lot of Tecmo's Super Bowl. Yeah. Which, actually we did this on our show this week, Thursday Tech Talk. We did the Mount Rushmore of Nintendo games. So I was just kind of curious what your 4 would be.
my 4 Nintendo games.
The best 4 Nintendo games that you think are the best of all time.
Oh,
Nintendo,
God.
not
That's
Super
such-
Nintendo.
That's such
but
on the
Nintendo.
spot, man, because that's there. I mean, there are so many great games. I mean, this is just off the top of my head, and I know I'm going to miss titles that I would be like, oh,
What do you want
yeah.
mine first?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right,
I'll
so
probably
for
steal
me,
from you, but that's fine.
Tecmo Super Bowl for me is number 1.
Okay. All right.
Number 2 is Mario 3, Super Mario Brothers 3.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that would be on my list.
The third one, and now I'm drawing a blank what I said. Shoot. Blades of Steel. You're really good at that.
Yeah, thank you.
Are you getting the theme of a lot of sports games
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
by the way?
yeah.
It's not like we do a show called Let's Play Sports or anything?
No,
Chase?
no, never heard of it.
Where's the ding?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry. There we go.
And the fourth one, I think I said Excite Bike.
Okay. Well, I mean, for me, not Super Nintendo, regular Nintendo, Super Mario 3, great, just solid title. Also, I like Baseball Stars.
That's a good one.
That was like one of the first games
Oh,
that I could remember where you could actually go in and edit the players and change the names. So when I was growing up, I would change the lineups to the 1989 Giants. And so I had all the entire starting lineup in there. And the cool thing is it would save your names. So it would save everything. Super C, which is Super Contra, very hard game, very tough. I loved it. That kind of goes in hand with the original Contra. And probably number 4, this is tough. I mean, I know I'm missing out, but maybe Blaster Master. I just thought the soundtrack was just excellent. Castlevania is good too.
yeah.
Oh man, there's so many good ones. I don't know if I
know.
There's
I even left off one.
Oh yeah,
I did not say
Gradius,
Excite
Ninja
Bike.
Gaiden. Oh god, we can go on. It's
I know.
It's thanks to Nintendo. It's really it helped restart the video game industry because originally, I mean, we had all these crappy consoles. I mean, Atari is good, and then it just started getting worse, and then all of a sudden it blew up, and then Nintendo came back into it, and the rest, as they say, is history. So, and thanks to Nintendo, really, in my opinion, thanks to Nintendo, we now have great games like Grand Theft Auto 5. You see what I did there?
Segue.
That deserves this. Thank you. Yeah, that's a little segue. By the way, I don't know if you guys knew this. But Grand Theft Auto 5 is now at $1 billion. $1 billion in sales.
Oh my god!
It hit 800 million in one day. So it didn't take them too long to get to the crispy billion mark in 3 days. I think I was reading somewhere it's the fastest entertainment anything, video game, movie, or otherwise, to reach that amount in that record time. Just incredible. I know, Joe, you're waiting to pick it up on the lovely PC platform. I know you haven't picked it up yet.
Nope.
But you will definitely when it comes out on PC.
I've been trying to avoid all the spoilers people have online already.
Oh, let me tell you about it real quick because
yeah, that'd be great. Thanks.
I won't.
Good night, everybody.
Yes, Joe. But it's very good, Joe. It is good. It's very good. No doubt, as you knew, it would be.
I'm not surprised. I didn't expect it to be crap. I guess I should say that. I mean, I am not surprised that it's not garbage.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's huge. I mean, this is not a spoiler. This is just fact that 60 square miles.
I've seen a few pictures of the map. Sorry. I've seen a few pictures of the map. I haven't looked at them real closely.
Yeah.
But I did realize how big it was.
60 square miles. It's crazy. It's so big. Now, Nick, have you picked up the game?
I have not. So I was going to ask you. I did not play 4. I think the last version I've played is Vice City.
Okay. So
I was just curious. Is it like am I missing out on any of the storyline, or is it something that I can?
Not
pick
really.
Up
Did you play San Andreas at all?
You know what? I did actually. I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Because there's a couple of I don't want to give it away too much, but there's a couple of callbacks, I guess, like some inside jokes to the previous games, but it's not necessary to know them. I mean, you're not. It's not like a continuation of a story, like I need to watch and play 4 to know what's going on. You don't need to. You don't.
All right. I'm torn because
So-
FIFA comes out on Tuesday.
I'm waiting on FIFA anyway, but
Yeah.
you know why.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
the size difference is just to go over this. GTA 3 had a 3 square mile map. Okay. GTA San Andreas was 13.6 square miles.
Okay.
And then Oblivion was 16 square miles. Everybody played, a lot of people know Oblivion. Far Cry 2, nobody played. Don't blame me for it. It was 31 square miles. World of Warcraft is only 80 square miles. Now, how big did you say GTA 5 was? 60?
Yeah.
So it fits between Far Cry 2 and World of Warcraft. So it's almost as big as World of Warcraft, which is pretty impressive.
Yep.
The biggest map this one has, this chart actually has, is Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall, which was 32,000 square miles, which is perhaps a little excessive. But one of my favorite games of all time, Just Cause, has a 400 square mile map, which is pretty big.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it on PC, but
Yeah.
I don't see the point of buying it on console when I won't play it.
Yeah, I noticed.
I still have Red Dead Redemption I haven't played.
I think as far as actual distances and stuff, you've got them all beat.
Minecraft actually has all of the maps beat.
Yeah, that's true.
I think last I heard it was roughly the size of the planet Uranus was the maximum map size.
Oh, really?
So
Yeah.
I'm
thank you.
not joking about that either. Like the surface, the size of that planet, if that was the surface area, that would approximately measure how large a Minecraft map can be.
Okay.
John's made me do this to him.
What?
Yeah. Now.
There. I don't want to.
I would say that a lot of people will also ask, why didn't they have this come out and wait for the next gen consoles? Well, think about it. Not a lot of people will be pulling the trigger on the next gen consoles right up front. Obviously, the existing customer base for these consoles, I don't know. A lot of people have PS3s and Xbox 360s. That's where you're going to make your money right now. Now, granted,
and a lot of the people who do buy the next gen console will very likely rebuy the game for that console.
That's true too. But they probably will come out maybe with a 5A or 5B or 6 or something. The only thing is, though, I was reading this timeline that this game took them almost 4 or 5 years to develop, and each game has been taking them progressively longer to make. So they're saying, well, when's the next GTA game? 7 years from now? 8 years from now? Do you guys really see that happening? Well, it'll take them another 7, 8 years? You do, Nick? Really?
I think so.
Why is
Especially
that?
now that there's a new console to develop for it.
That long, huh?
I mean, it took this long for 5. I think they've set the bar so high now.
Yeah.
They can't come out with come out with a crappy game.
Well, I think, though, that since the architecture for the consoles is changing, they're going to an x86 architecture, I think it'll be easier for them to develop for the next-gen consoles for both Xbox One and PS4 and PC. Because since they're going to be using PCs to make these, and the architecture is going to be much easier to develop for, I think you might see games and higher quality games come out more often for the next gen consoles.
Well,
but how
it's
much
not
of that
about
too?
the game. I was going to say it's not about the game development. It's not the programming part of it that's hard. It's the building the artwork, building the map, populating the map. All those pieces are
All
the
those
hard
little
part.
pieces.
The game engine itself is really not. I mean, unless they drastically change it, it's really not that different. And even if it is, they're already working on their probably second or third one out game engine. At least they should be.
Yeah, that's true.
Just real quick,
Good
looking
point.
at Wiki, it says, and the other thing too is, remember GTA 3 and GTA 4 both had subtitles that were released in the same engine in the same world. GTA 4 had The Lost in the Dam, Chinatown Wars, and The Ballad of Gay Tony, and those all came out the next year. So I would not be surprised if we see the same sort of thing with GTA 5. We'll see some DLC, some actual quality DLC. You hear me? Game developers out there making stupid DLC. So we'll see some good quality DLC for GTA 5 in another year or two, and then we'll see a wait until GTA 6 or whatever the next big platform for them, the next big title for them is. But the gap between GTA 4 and GTA 5, 2008 was when GTA 4 came out. So, 5 years-ish.
Now, the one thing I want to mention, this might be a minor spoiler, Joe, so you might want to mute your ears. I'm not sure.
Uh-oh,
But,
here we go.
Well, maybe I will too.
No,
Jeez.
no. So in the game, like in GTA 4, your character has a phone. Okay. And in GTA 5, there's not just one, but there's actually 3 characters that you get to utilize through the game: Michael, Franklin, and Trevor. All right. So each of them have a phone, and each of them are using different types of phones. Now, obviously, because of trademark and copyright, they can't say that they're using iPhones or Androids or Windows phones, but the interfaces really, really mimic them. So Michael, which is the character in the game who's kind of rich, he's using an iPhone kind of an interface. Okay. Franklin, which is the gangsta, he's using an Android-style interface. And the meth tweak Trevor is using a Windows Phone interface.
Oh, it's a shame.
So, the one thing about this game is they are not afraid to pull any punches. Rockstar is just saying this is an adult game. Don't let your kids play it. I mean, be responsible parents. Obviously, the game is rated M for mature, and let me tell you, it is a very, very mature title. I don't think the game should be banned. I don't, the game is rated as it is. It's made for adults, and people say, well, kids are going to get their hands on it. I am not here today to start the argument about video games and violence and causing killings and all that. That is way outside the realm of this show. Granted, my opinion is biased. I will definitely tell you guys that. I don't believe this game causes violence, there are so many groups that are up in arms over this game. It's not even funny. I mean, you have animal rights activists because animals are being harmed in this game, just like as they were in Red Dead Redemption with horses being run over by trains. You can't please everybody. This is an entertainment item. You know what? Take it for what it's worth. If you're a parent and your kid's 12 years old and you're buying Grand Theft Auto 5 for your kid, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
You're making poor decisions.
Yeah.
But
right.
no,
I mean, Nick can buy for his twins, but that's okay.
The best argument I've ever heard for violent video games causing violence is with how much, and this is just for video games in general, with how common video game consoles and gaming systems and stuff like that have gotten.
Yeah.
We've reached the point where saying video games in the home causes violence is basically the same thing as saying microwaves in the home cause violence.
Yeah.
They've reached that level of penetration.
Minecraft causes kids to be digging in the backyard.
Oh yeah. You know what? Yeah,
it.
That's true, John. Minecraft can cause
it
gardeners.
So,
Yes.
you can always well, no, that's Plants vs. Zombies. That causes gardeners.
Yeah.
You can always tell the family that the kids play Minecraft in because in the backyard there are perfectly cubic holes in their backyard.
Perfect.
With the blocks stacked up next to the hole.
And there's red stuff poured all over the ground.
Yeah, there's red stuff poured on the ground. Red paint. It's red paint.
Yeah. No, they're using Kool-Aid for redstone.
Yeah. Hey, final main story I want to get to is a really cool website that actually John discovered over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
John, as you guys know, is a huge anime fan. And actually, thanks to John, I've gotten into some anime. One of those great flicks is... Hold on. I'm drawing a blank. Why am I drawing a blank?
Sword
Art Online. Thank
Okay.
you. Anyway, John Kessler. So what's this site? What have you found?
The backstory, and that you mentioned Sword Art Online. The gentleman that wrote Sword Art Online also does another flick called Excel World.
Okay.
They have been picked up by, and it's on Anime News Network.com.
You're losing me, John.
Okay.
Well,
there's a site. They said that Yen Press, it says North American publisher Yen Press announced in its panel at blah, 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 that it's picked up Sword Art Online and Excel World, the light novels. And in the article I was running down through, they talked about, especially with Excel World, about being able to, through Viz Media, their site, Neon Alley. So I was over checking out Neon Alley's site. They have 2 apps. One for you can watch them on the Xbox and the PlayStation 3.
Okay, so this is this streaming?
Yeah, no,
so it's not on demand.
No, I was actually kind of, I'm doing their trial. We'll see if I like it or not. They actually have, so they're trying to do what their thing is. They're trying to do streaming.
But it looks like they also looks like they also offer, though, you can now go back and watch other stuff.
Yeah, so click on what's on.
Okay, all right.
So that's basically their programming.
Wow, so they have a schedule and everything.
They have a schedule. I went into the catch up. If you do that, click on that one up above. Scroll back up and say catch up, and you can see Excel World's going to be right there at the top. But that's, you can only go back and watch those 4 episodes.
That Hulu kind of does that too.
And I was, and of course, at the start of a video feed, there is a little bit of an ad for some of their other stuff coming up.
That's what Hulu does too.
And right in the, it looks like, right about the middle of the thing, there is another little ad. I'm just like, well,
so what are you paying for? I mean, what's the difference between this and Crunchyroll?
This, it's actually comes down to licensing and who has what.
Okay.
They have stuff, like I cannot, you won't find Excel World is not on Crunchyroll. So Neon Alley's, their monthly subscription is $6.99, but it's watch live. They have an all shows, and they actually do have some movies on it. Now the one thing, it said I'm trying it out. I poked around on the Xbox app today. Chase, go to the top.
Okay.
Click on the all shows.
All right.
And then scroll all the way down. I'm actually kind of excited about this one, even though I know it's going to be out on Crunchyroll too.
Okay.
A good series this last year was Magi.
Oh.
And that's coming up with the basically the second season.
Cool.
So they're going to be streaming that. On the app, I can't. I mean, I don't have a PlayStation, so I can't try out their app. But the Xbox one, you're pretty much locked into whatever.
You mean 360?
Yep,
360.
Yeah, the 360. I guess I should.
It'll
clarify
probably be
that.
available on Xbox One.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the 360, yeah, you're kind of pretty much locked into their programming. You can't go do the catch-up stuff. And I haven't seen a click-on button for the all shows.
Oh, okay.
So you're pretty much locked into their whatever their streaming program is.
So Neon Alley, you can do a 1-week free trial, and then after that, how much is it?
$6.99 a month.
$6.99 a month,
which is right in line with Crunchyroll. It pretty much seems like all these streaming sites are pretty.
But obviously, the difference here with this is you're basically watching it as it comes out, essentially, right?
Yeah, because I noticed I had to look. I think next week, Wednesday or Thursday, will be a new episode that they don't, or at least not, on their catch-up thing for Excel World. That was the main thing I was kind of looking at.
Cool.
Curious to see if they come out. I mean, they haven't announced it, but because Sword Art's supposed to be picking up another season on that.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if that comes up on this too.
Cool. Well, neonalley.com is the website, and we'll put a link in our show notes if you guys want to check it out. There's a free trial, and you have to be at least 18 to sign up. So kids, before you do, make sure your parent does it for you.
Yeah. Now, actually, and these are all. Now, the thing with this one is they're all dubbed or in English. There's no subtitled.
Okay. Unlike Crunchyroll.
Unlike Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll, the only thing that I've ever seen on there is the Ruby that's in English. Everything, and I kind of laugh. Some people goes, "Oh, it was a bad dubbing." It's just like, that is in English. It's not. That's not a dub. That's the way it is.
Got it.
But they're trying to push on this one, Neon Alley. They're trying to push a lot of HD. It's all in English, so it's it's for the U.S. market. And kind of going back a little bit, the light novels. I've been reading the light novels for the Sword Art and the Excel World on through the Baka Reader Android app, which is the Baka-Tsuki.org. Because of the End Press's stuff, they've actually had to pull all the Sword Art, or they've actually had to pull all their Sword Art Online translations.
Got it.
And I think they had to pull possibly the Excel World translations.
Okay.
Which is kind of a bummer, but we'll see. You know, some of the guys are saying that some of the actual translators said that the stuff that's coming out of Yen Press is actually pretty good, and they're going to actually go ahead and buy the stuff from Yen.
Oh, sweet.
When it comes out. So we'll have to, I mean, for the people that like to read that stuff.
Right. Well, cool.
Yep.
Well, awesome pick, John. I know this is not really picks of the week, but it's one of those things where, you know, we all wanted to bring something to the table this week. So thanks, John. And that's it.
That's it.
There's one thing I want to talk to you guys about real quick, and this is just for me,
Okay,
to
kids.
everybody out there that is a fan of Geek Gamer Weekly, Geek Gamer TV, and pretty much everything that I've tried to do over these past 8 years. About a month and a half ago, if you are an Xbox Live gamer, you probably know of this gentleman. His name is Major Nelson. He's Larry Erb. He works very hard and diligently over there at Microsoft. He's been there for over 10 years. And he posted back on August 1st that he was looking for 2 members to join him to help create Awesome. And he called it Team Major Nelson. And I, obviously, I've been out of work for a little bit, in the professional world of making money. And I applied for those positions. And thanks to you guys, honestly, thanks to the awesome community that is out there. You guys have been nothing but supportive, especially my close friends here. I'm in the running for one of these positions, or both of these positions. I don't know which one I'll hopefully get. Crossing my fingers yet. But basically, I wanted to let you guys know that obviously, in taking a huge responsibility on like this, some things like Geek Gamer TV and Geek Gamer Weekly, where I could easily do a scheduled live show on a Sunday and Minecraft on Thursdays, those live scheduled shows may go away. I'm not saying that I won't do shows. What I'm saying is I may not be able to do them every Sunday or every Thursday. The schedule may happen where I can't do it live and at a certain time. What does that mean? Well, they won't come out the same day every week. And, I'm a podcaster. I know that sometimes that can be annoying. Especially when, you download a show, you have it for your Monday commute or your Tuesday commute or whatever, and it's not there. And so I just wanted to let you know that. Obviously, I've been doing these shows for a very long period of time. I mean, thanks to some awesome friends and big support. But obviously, I need to do something that pays the bills. I got to pay for mortgage and power and electricity and all that fun stuff.
New PC hard drives.
And new PC hard drives for the computer that just died. So I just wanted to let you guys know. And this week, as I record this is Sunday, September 22nd. This week, I am anticipating going in for that interview to Microsoft. So it's one of those situations. So I just want to say thank you guys. I know you guys have been totally supportive and understanding. And as of today, the live schedule will be coming off, except for Minecraft Me. I'm going to keep that on Thursdays, but the Sunday episodes for Geek Gamer Weekly are going to change somewhat. That being said, if we're all available and we're here to do a show, we'll do a show on Sundays still. But obviously, some things may change. So if you have any questions and you want to throw them to me directly, you can. You can tweet them to me at Nunes on Twitter, or you can just send them into the show weekly at Geek Gamer TV. So there you go. I want to say a big thanks to this guy right here. He also co-hosts a small little show that I do, that we do casually, and it's a lot of fun. It's called Let's Play Sports. But you can also find Nick doing a lot of his own shows, and they're good, sporty, fun shows. And he puts a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that work. I know what he does because I'm doing it myself. Nick Zuberling, you can follow him on Twitter at NickSPNT, and you can also check him out at spnt.tv. And Nick, why don't you tell people real quick what you do over there?
Well, originally I started off with a podcast called Who Day Weekly, which is devoted to the Cincinnati Bengals back in 2010. And it just kind of morphed. I knew that I wanted to do a network of some kind, very similar to what you're doing here with Geek Gamer Weekly. And so it morphed into a Cincinnati Reds podcast. And then I started a minor league baseball podcast, a Notre Dame football podcast. And so it's just a network of shows across all different types of sports, entertainment, and that sort of thing. And you're right. It takes an awful lot of hard work to pull this off. I don't do it with near the production quality that you do from a video perspective, but no, and you're talking about your interview, Chase. Good luck. I'm really rooting for you. I think everybody in the podcast community is rooting for you because you do put your heart and soul into this venture, and you do fantastic work, and we all want to see you get rewarded.
Well, thanks, man, and I do appreciate it. And I also actually going to your website gave me a good reminder. The podcast awards, which Minecraft Me, by the way, was a gaming nominee. Were you a nominee last year in any category?
I've actually, Who Day Weekly has been a finalist in the podcast awards 2 years in a row in the sports category. And so we've lost out both years to ESPN. So
well, ESPN's got a huge audience, so
a little bit,
yeah. Well, I tell you what, Nick, I think what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do this live right now. So we got it on tape, digital tape. Yeah, tape. Yeah, look it up, kids.
Yeah, tape. Tape that.
Yeah, look it up. I'm going to say we're going to support your sports shows. If you support Minecraft Me, because we're going to push Minecraft Me again. We were a finalist last year, Minecraft Me in the gaming category. We got beat out. I forgot who beat us. It doesn't matter. But congratulations to whoever you are. So yeah, we'll have our Minecraft Me people who nominate us. We're going to say, hey, go nominate this sports show, because we didn't have a sports podcast to help support. So
awesome.
So there we go.
Well, now I've got like 3 that I have to tell. I'm kind of torn now. What am I going to do?
Oh no. Well, we were in the gaming category, and there you go.
If we could get like 3 or 4 of our sports shows in there, because last year ESPN had 6.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah,
and that'd be kind of cool if it was just the 2 networks, and that would be kind of cool. I don't think that would happen, but you never know.
I mean, the great thing about small shows like us is our audiences are much more engaged typically.
Absolutely,
and that's the best part. So, Mr. John Kessler, our resident EVE Online and Car Geek and Anime Geek. I need to add that to your lower third. I got the camera zoomed in on you now.
Yeah,
so,
I see that.
Yeah,
thank you.
You're looking good though, man. I mean, I can get you some GLH. It's a spray on hair product.
Oh, no, thank you.
Ron Popeil. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah,
or I can get you some powder.
That's it.
Okay, yeah.
We need a powder girl.
Yeah,
powder that.
Yeah. Joe's smart enough to wear a hat. Joe's Joe, our resident helicopter, 3D printing, and co-host of the worldwide popular show Minecraft Me.
Worldwide.
It is worldwide popular. We are consistently in the iTunes rankings. Nice. This show, not so much. Probably because we're not consistent. Also probably because we've done so many episodes that people watch the old stuff in the beginning, and they're like, man, that looks so bad. I'm not watching that again.
They should watch it backwards.
Yeah, that's right.
Newest episode to oldest episode.
That's
if you can stick through it to number 1, that's impressive.
Yeah, go back and listen to episode 1. You can't watch episode 1 because it was audio only. But oh man, time flies when you're having fun. But Joe, as always, thank you, sir. Thanks for hanging out.
Hey, it was fun. I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna see if I can get my Virtual Boy hooked up.
Yes.
After this, and give it a little play.
Yes. By the way, one thing I am going to try doing after our shows on Sunday is we're going to hang around for a little bit, and I'm actually going to open up the line. So if you've been watching us live, I want to reward you. If you guys want to call in and say hello, you can, and talk about what we talked about. What's your fondest Nintendo memory? What do you think of Grand Theft Auto 5? How do you feel about iOS 7? So if you want to join us for that, please stay tight. But if you're downloaded the show and you have listened to it in its entirety, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. Check out our schedule, or as the British say, schedule. Check it out online at geekgamer.tv. That is where you can find all of the previous episodes of everything that we do. In addition to what we do here at Geek Gamer TV, that's the wrong logo. There we go. In addition to what we do here at Geek Gamer TV on Geek Gamer Weekly, you can also watch our PAX 13 coverage. You can also find a link to our Roku app right there on the homepage. And also, Let's Play Sports, Minecraft Me, Geek Gamer Weekly, Geek Gamer Pinball, and much, much, much more. So much to fit, and that's why it's on a webpage. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. We really do appreciate it. We will see you guys again next time for another edition of Geek Gamer Weekly. For Mr. Nick Suberling, Joseph Falby, John Kessler, I'm Chase Nunes. Until we all talk again, we're all silent. Say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.
Hiroshi Yamauchi.
Well said.